Wonderful evening to you all, and welcome to a Tuesday edition of the Big C Sports Podcast. This is the NBA Draft Lottery Watch Party. I'm your host, CJ Pronk. Thank you so much for joining in live or watching this on repeat. Whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, please make sure to go ahead and like the page or subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Also, please make sure to like the video and share with those who you think may enjoy this. This is a very fantastic night for the teams that missed out on the NBA playoffs, and for those teams who did make the playoffs but yet still, whether via trade or whatever the scenario, do hold picks in tonight's draft or tonight's lottery. And I'm very excited to take a look at the results here. I'm a little biased, as you can maybe see. Go Jazz. But I am very excited for the lottery. It's honestly, to be perfectly honest with you, the way that the NBA has changed the way the lottery works as far as, the way that odds go, who has the best and worst odds to get it, I really think they did a great job. They kind of balanced it out so that teams can't just, lose 60 or 70 games on purpose and guarantee themselves the first pick. It's not like in the NFL where, if you have the worst record, you're guaranteed to end up with the first pick. So I think the NBA has done a very good job in weighing the pros and the cons of, tanking, as a lot of people like to call it, losing on purpose. So it should be a fun night. We should, be able to see. Apologize for the lighting change there. TV turned off, I think, but that's okay. I got the draft lottery pulled up in another tab here. It's kind of like I think when we were doing the NFL draft the other night, though, where I will not be able to live stream the actual watch, like the actual draft lottery itself. So you'll be able to definitely see the results. I'm going to try to share my screen with you guys so that we can kind of pull up live results of the draft lottery as they trickle in here. But I'm also going to be watching live. If you do want to watch it live as well, you can go ahead and you can turn on. It's on ESPN right now. They've got the draft lottery live on TV. But this is a draft that a lot of people think is going to change the history of the NBA, and the reason for that is Victor Wembanyama. Victor is a prospect out of France who a lot of people are saying that if LeBron James, as an 18-year-old, we remember all the hype that he had around him. If he was in this draft at the same time, that he would have gone before LeBron James even in this draft. And that's saying a lot because obviously LeBron, from the time this kid was 16 years old, was being compared to Michael Jordan. So you've got to, take that and kind of compare the two together. Victor Wembanyama being, supposedly better than LeBron. And apologize, I had something on the back of my neck there. And obviously, you've got yourself a fantastic player there. But this should be a lot of fun. They won't start the actual drawing, I don't think, for a couple more minutes. But one thing I definitely did want to do was kind of take any questions or comments you guys had about the draft lottery tonight, and what you guys think is going to happen. Is any team going to make a big jump? Possibly into the top four or, higher than they are projected to go. That definitely does seem to happen every year. I don't know if we can really say that we've seen a team, jump all the way up from like 14th, but we definitely do see teams that are maybe, right now currently inside the top 10 and maybe make a move, up into the top 3 or the top 4. That's something that does seem to happen on a pretty regular basis. And I think we'll probably see that happen at least one time tonight. If I had to go with my gut feeling, I do think that Detroit is probably going to end up with the first pick. It just is kind of my gut feeling. That's what I feel. And, if they do, that's a really solid young team already. They obviously didn't win a whole lot last year, but I mean, like, talent-wise, that's an extremely talented young team. And I could really see them making some noise in the next few years if they're able to add Wembanyama. I mean, and he's not the only good player in this draft. That's the thing about this draft is a lot of people do think, a lot of scouts and writers and analysts and executives around the league definitely do think that this is a very, very deep draft outside of just Victor Wembanyama. You have the Thompson twins, or excuse me, the Thompson twins. You have Scoot Henderson. You have Brandon Miller. So there are a lot. There's a lot of talent in this draft. And obviously, teams that aren't going to be, exclusively picking first are still going to have a chance to get a player that's going to change the future of their team. I do apologize that you guys are probably seeing my dog walking around in the back here. He's next to me now, so I apologize for that. But um, his mama's not here, and he's a mama's boy, so he's being silly. But I'm excited to see how this shakes out. I think that the actual drawing will start. If let's see what ESPN has like a countdown happening right now. See if I can tell you guys. Yeah, they said the reveal, so it's going to start here in about 9 minutes. So what, about 8:15 or about 8:20 or so Eastern time. But for those watching, we got a pretty nice turnout right now. For those watching, definitely go ahead and throw in the comments what you guys think is going to happen tonight in this draft. Or I guess maybe a talent in the draft that you guys like. Who do you guys think deserve to be picked higher maybe than they're projected? Just any questions or comments you guys have about this draft. Obviously, a huge playoff game also right after the draft lottery is coming on. We got the Western Conference Finals, Lakers-Warriors happening. We can always talk about that as well. Whatever you guys want to get to. As always, your questions and comments are always welcomed and appreciated. Jap Santos, appreciate that. Tweets in Victor to Portland. That, I got to tell you what, would really, really help your case of Damian Lillard not requesting a trade. There's been a lot of rumors about what Dame may do this offseason. If he's going to request a trade or kind of what the Blazers will decide to do with him. We all know how fantastic Damian Lillard is as a player. But I tell you what, you add Victor Wembanyama to that team and find a way to hold on to Jeremy Grant. You got a nice young core still of Anthony Simons, Victor Wembanyama, and Jeremy Grant is still fairly young, along with obviously a more than established superstar in Damian Lillard. That would be pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. As a Jazz fan, that obviously would hurt me a little bit because y'all are in the same division as we are. But it would still be very, very cool to see Damian Lillard and Victor Wembanyama play together. And Portland, they're right there. They've got the 5th best chance, according to the lottery odds. So you never know. That's a very, very possible thing that could happen. Thanks for the comment. Appreciate it. Anybody else, always feel free. Your questions, comments, anything you guys want to talk about is more than welcome as we are approaching the results of our draft lottery. They're bringing out all the representatives for the teams now. I do know the one representative I do know for sure. I do know the Utah Jazz have brought Colin Sexton. He was a previous high pick. Kenneth Matthews says the Spurs. I think the Spurs are very, very likely as well. I think it's probably if I had to make a choice and put money on who was going to get it, it would either be Detroit or San Antonio. Those are kind of my two gut feelings. I really feel Detroit, but San Antonio would not surprise me one bit. And what a heck of a situation or a team to go to. Go ahead and be coached by Greg Popovich. You couldn't ask for anything better for a fantastic young player. Would make a lot of sense. Hayden on YouTube says, do you think we'll see potential trades for the first overall pick? Absolutely not. I think whoever gets the first pick is holding on to it for dear life. I think the only chance that anybody would trade this pick would be if a team, like Milwaukee called and said, "Hey, we're blowing it up. Do you want Giannis?" I think that would be the only way a team would ever consider trading the first pick this year. Wembanyama, I mean, unless the entire league is about to be, tricked and he's not what everybody thinks he's going to be, I think he's more than capable of going in and within the first couple years of his career being the absolute face of a franchise. So I don't see anybody entertaining that. Thank you so much for the comment. Raym Carvin says Houston Rockets will get the first pick. Absolutely another possibility. They're right there as the second option, as or the second best odds, I guess you could say. So that's very possible. What tends to happen, though, every year is a team that's in that top 3 or top 4 tends to drop out, right? You see a team that's that high that potentially drops out of it. And kind of just my gut feeling is Houston might be that team that we could see drop out. A team that is already chock full of great young individual talent, and I put a very big emphasis on individual talent because I don't know if they know how to play together at all. I guess we'll find out under, Ime Udoka, who's a really, really good coach. I guess we'll find out, but if they're able to get Victor, I mean, that's just another young piece to an already extremely young, extremely individually talented team. Jap again says Keldon and Victor looks lethal too. Oh, definitely. Absolutely. 100%. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Wherever Victor goes, I'm excited because such a talented prospect, man. I mean, we've never seen anybody with his length and athletic ability on both ends of the floor. A guy that's that big, that's able to play and defend guards or in the post is just going to be, extremely intriguing to see. And especially him doing it against NBA talent is going to be something that I'm very, very intrigued to see. Jake Mon says top 5 pick for Utah. How's it going, Jake? I would love to see the Jazz sneak up farther than 9th where they're slotted right now in the odds. Obviously, I am a little biased being a Utah Jazz fan. But, I mean, no matter what happens tonight, there is definitely going to be some movement. I feel very strongly that that's going to happen. It tends to happen every single year. And this year, whoever gets that number 1 pick, whether it's somebody that's, in that high possibility when it comes to the odds or not, is going to be very, very thrilled. Appreciate all the viewership activity here, whether you are tuning in on Facebook or on YouTube. Whether you're watching live or on repeat, please make sure to leave a comment, subscribe to the YouTube if you have not done so already, and like the page on Facebook as well. Hobbs says, who's your top 3 prospects? So I've got to go Victor 1. I've watched a ton of his highlights and when possible, tried to watch him live when he's been on TV, and I'm sold. I 100% think that he is that dude. Number 2, I'd have to say Brandon Miller. A lot of people have Scoot Henderson at number 2, but I just think his length and athletic ability puts him above Scoot for that very reason. And then I do have Scoot at number 3. And I think he's a guy that is a little undersized, definitely a little bit undersized, but he's a guy that's going to definitely learn how to score the basketball in the NBA. He was very, very good in the G League last year, and I think that in the NBA, he's a guy that is definitely going to learn how to put the ball in the basket very efficiently. A guy that can already do it pretty well in the G League, obviously, but making that jump to the league, he kind of reminds me a little bit of a Donovan Mitchell, an undersized scorer, kind of like an Allen Iverson. Obviously not anywhere near that talent level yet. He could get there, But I kind of think that the fact that he's a little undersized, that's the only reason I wouldn't put him at number 2, like the consensus seems to be. Appreciate the questions there. Very much appreciated. Count down the seconds here. Looks like they're starting to finally introduce everybody on ESPN there. Jake Mon says, "Who's your sleeper in this draft?" Ooh, man, I don't know. I really like Jarris Walker from Houston, but I mean, a lot of people have him going to the top 5, so I don't know if I would necessarily have that as a sleeper. But I really like him. Um, I really like the Thompsons a lot. That the twins, I think that both of them are extremely gifted. But we're going to go ahead and start with the results now. So they are going to bring these in. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get to a website that is kind of doing live results of this. See if I can share my screen with you guys so that you can see it. So New Orleans is going to be 14. That is the first announcement so far. Toronto is going to be at 13. Raniel, the Lakers actually don't own a first round pick this year because they did trade it to New Orleans. So they actually don't have a first round pick this season. Whoever gets the number 1 pick sooner or later will be a Laker. You never know. You never know. So far everything seems to be keeping to form. So Dallas does keep their pick at number 10. That would have been something that, because it was a protected pick, it possibly could have gone to the Knicks. So the Jazz will stay at 9. They will not make the jump like I was hoping. So far everything's kept to form as far as odds go. Washington at 8. Pacers at 7. Orlando at 6. So everything staying to form so far. No surprises or jumps yet. Wow, so now we have a jump. So Detroit ends up going all the way down to the 5th overall pick. So that's the first change that we've had so far now. So now we just have the top 4 remaining. Anywhere between Houston, San Antonio, Charlotte, and Portland. So Portland jumping up into the top 4 was something I did not expect to see. Let me go ahead and see again if I can find a way to share these results with you guys live so that I can share my screen here. But yeah, so far everything stayed to form other than Detroit dropping out of the top 4 and Portland moving in to the top 4 here. So that's an exciting thing for Portland. I mean, I know we had a comment here earlier. I'll go ahead and put it on the screen. This one right here from Jap Santos saying, Victor to Portland. It's a possibility now, very, very real. They jump up into the top 4 there. So definitely a very realistic thing that could happen. They're on a commercial break now. That's usually what they do is they'll go through the top 14 all the way to 5, and then they'll leave the top 4. The top 3, I think, is what I've seen them do in the past as well for afterwards. So after this commercial break is when we'll be able to see the rest of the results from the lottery. But like I said, everything kept to form other than just that one jump of Portland up into the top 4 there. Findley says Victor to Portland and Scoot to Houston. I'm telling you, I'm starting to have a little bit of a weird feeling that the Portland could get that one pick. And like I was telling you guys earlier, that's a very, very intriguing piece there because you already have Dame, who's obviously more than established star in the NBA. You have Anthony Simons, who's seems to be right there ready to take the reins from Dame when he does go away. Jeremy Grant, obviously extremely athletic, good scorer, great length, and you add Victor to that. I mean that could be scary for the West. It really could. Finley also here says Giannis linked with Dame. I have seen a few things with that as well. Don't know if it maybe could quite happen in Portland, but you never know. You never know. But, you get Victor Wembanyama, it's kind of like a poor man's Giannis right now. That's what a lot of comparisons are. Obviously, with his length and athletic ability, he's being compared a lot to Giannis. But I'm excited though, man. That Portland jumping into the top 4 was definitely not something that I expected to see. Again, I'm still trying to find somewhere that has all the results lined up so far. Let me see if I can find something on Twitter maybe and share my screen that way with you guys. So ESPN Stats and Info, great account to follow, by the way, on Twitter. Just tweeted out and says, with the Pistons receiving the 5th pick, that's now 5 straight seasons where the teams with the worst record has not selected first overall. 5 drafts in a row. That's pretty impressive. Obviously, the NFL is not that way. The NFL is no matter what, whoever has the worst record is going to pick first. So the NBA is very unique in that aspect. Again, those of you watching, live or on repeat, do greatly appreciate your support. Very, very much appreciated. If you have not done so already, please make sure to like the page on Facebook, or if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, make sure to subscribe or like the video as well. So I do greatly appreciate everybody tuning in live and on repeat. Finley also says, scary how Scoot would be number 1 in basically every draft. Scoot's extremely talented. The only thing that I was kind of talking about this before, I'm not sure if you were on or not yet, is just the fact that his size, I think, hurts him a little bit in today's NBA. Just because I think the way that the league is trending is you need to have length. And so I think that's one thing that hurts him. Other than that, he's fantastic. So they're about to announce the top 4 now. So Houston at 4. Portland. So Portland will pick 3rd. The 2nd pick will go to Charlotte. And the Spurs will have the 1st overall pick, which means most likely Victor Wembanyama will be heading to San Antonio. Unbelievable. The fact that San Antonio seems to luck out. Wow. Victor Wembanyama getting to be coached by Greg Popovich, man. I tell you what. The last time they had the 1st pick was they picked Tim Duncan. And obviously before him, David Robinson. Wow. Victor Wembanyama most likely, unless something crazy happens, going to San Antonio. And I'm not sure who this is. This is Peter Holt, who is representing the Spurs, was hype. Wow. Man, I'm a little surprised. I did not expect to see San Antonio get it. The fact that Victor Wembanyama gets to be coached by Greg Popovich is a scary thing to think about for the rest of the league. And they're actually going to interview Victor right now on ESPN. Wow. Victor Wembanyama to San Antonio. Well, folks, to answer a question from earlier that we had here, which is this one, I'll put it up on the screen. Do you think we'll see potential trades for this first overall pick? Absolutely not. San Antonio will not even consider trading this pick. No, not a chance. Not a chance. Man. Victor Wembanyama to San Antonio. Wow. I'm very, very surprised. Jake Mon says so. Scoot will go 3 and Dame will get traded. Man, I just don't know. I don't know about the whole Dame leaving thing, man. I just don't know. It depends on where. I don't really see a team right now in great position or with the desire maybe to get him. Um, but man, he might. Jake also says Charlotte already has a point guard. Yes, but I will say that there are rumors that he wants to get traded too. I live in Charlotte, and there are plenty of sources here that have said that he doesn't want to be here anymore. So you never know. LaMelo might not be in Charlotte next year if he has anything to say about it anyway. Victor under Coach Pop. Yeah, I mean that's a scary prospect. That's a scary thing for the rest of the league. It really is. But wow. Victor Wembanyama to San Antonio, man. I tell you what, that's pretty surprising. Very surprising. Well, the watch party is now, or as far as, excuse me, the draft lottery is now over. Now they'll move on to the game one of the Western Conference Finals. Warriors taking, excuse me, the Warriors. The Lakers taking on the Nuggets. Lakers just beat the Warriors in 6 games in the previous series. And we're really about to find out about Denver, I think. Lakers have obviously looked very strong so far. Able to beat the defending champion Golden State Warriors. We're about to find out about Denver, though, in this series, if they're for real or not, because that's a lot of championship experience on the Lakers team that on paper may not be as talented, but you never know. Want to thank everybody who tuned in live and also who is watching this on repeat tonight. Again, please make sure, if you have not done so already, to like or follow the page on Facebook. You can also subscribe on YouTube, Big Siege Sports Podcast. Do greatly appreciate everybody that tuned in live. And again, those watching on repeat. Hope everybody has a blessed evening. God bless. Good night.